All right, guys, so we are moving on to 7.2, and as I promised, we're going to learn about something called the while loop. All right, this is a loop. I'm going to teach it in a little bit of a controversial way because as an introduction to programming, we're going to learn the concepts instead of using what people would more argue a more formal way to make a loop be built. And the reason being, again, I want to build foundations. So, when we are trying to make a loop happen, let's say I want this code, right, print hello, to happen. Now, we know I could just say for I in range, and I could put some like massive number on here so that it will always just run. Like I'm never gonna, the heat death of the universe will happen before this executes fully as a number. So, you know, that's one of those things that, like, sure, we could get it to do that and just have it repeat trillions and trillions of times, but there's a better way to do it, all right? And what we need to do is two things. The first thing is we need to make some sort of, like, switch or something being set to the value true. So I'm going to say keep going equals true. And I'm going to say while keep underscore going has the value of true, we're going to print hello. So this, kind of think of it like an on-off switch, like a light. For example, I have a light here, which turns lights on and off. It's kind of like turning things to true and false. And for as long as it's true, my loop or the light is going to keep being on, or it's going to keep going and doing its job. All right, so let's try running this. Let's see what we get. All right, I'm just getting the word hello printed hundreds of times. You can see the scroll bar is starting to it gets smaller and smaller as more and more items are being added onto here. And this will go on forever. Like, as long as this computer's up and running and it can support the resources required. Like, I mean, it's printing a lot of hellos and it's got to remember them all down at the bottom here. Let me show you. You can see that little scroll bar right here. You know, as long as that keeps going, it's just, yeah, this is going to run forever. So let's close that out. Yeah, it's still running. Do I want to kill it? Yes, because it's never going to stop. All right. So we can do some pretty cool things with this. All right. So I have just print hello, but we could instead ask equals input. Are we there yet? So now I can even have an input. So when I run this, it's going to just ask me that question forever. So if you've ever seen this, it's pretty popular on like The Simpsons. Are we there yet? No. 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 It's going to keep asking over and over and over again as we basically just build out like a loop that's going on forever. Now, there are some tricks that we can do. For example, if ask has the value of yes, what if I did something like set keep going to false? Let's try this and see what we get. Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? Not yet. Oh, not yet. Are we there yet? Soon. Are we there yet? Yes. And then my program finally ends. And then I could even print something at the bottom. Finally, we have arrived. Sure. So are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? Yes. Finally, we have arrived. So I've made a piece of code that will trap you in this loop for seemingly forever until you like say exactly what it's expecting. All right. So some other cool tricks. I'm just going to show you a couple random things. Let's go back up here. Let's set x equal to 0. And while keep going is true, I'm going to print x. X equals x plus 1. So we're going to increase the value. Let's see what we get there. All right, it's just going to count and count and count and count. So it's going to keep going. This will keep counting again forever as long as we let the resources push through on it. You know, depending on how fast your computer can count really depends on how fast your computer is as well. So just a cool thing, you can kind of like race computers and see like if one computer can outpace another in terms of speed or things like that. I don't know, I'm just nerding out with that. But yeah, anyway, you can have this count forever. All right. One last thing I'd like to show you. Why don't we do apples equals 5 while apples greater than 0. So now this while loop is going to happen for as long as the variable apples has a value greater than 0. So I can say take equals input, remove an apple. I should probably print there are, I'm giving you some review, string of apples in the basket. There we go. All right. Print remove an apple if take equals yes. Apples equals apples minus 1. And then I'm just going to copy this because I'm lazy. Print there are that many apples in the basket. Let's try this. Let's let this break 20,000 just because. There we go, 20,000. So now we can run this. There are 5 apples in the basket. Remove an apple. Yes. There are 4. No. No. Yes. 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 And then there are 0 in the basket. So when that happened, the value, because remember we're stuck in this loop for forever until the apples are not greater than 0. So I can take out the apple, are asked to remove it. If it's removed, we take one out. So we went down to 4, down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. We got down to 0, right? We removed the last apple. We said there are 0 in the basket. It tries to move around and repeat back up to this while loop and says, is 0 greater than 0? Nope, it's not. So we're done. And then we can print none left. So we can quickly run that again. Remove an apple, and then it says none left outside of the loop for it to continue doing business as usual with executing lines of code. All right, so that's the main idea of these while loops. So let me just bring up an old one just because we can, yeah, that's fine. We can leave this. All right, just so you know that like how a loop works with the basic outline. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the 2 number guessing games, 1 through 10, 1 through 100. All right, and what you're going to do with them is you're going to put them on loop, and you're also going to end the game when the player gets it right. All right, that's the base level of assignment. If you wanted to get a little bit fancier and do some cool things with it, what you could do is, ending the game when the player gets it right, you could also keep track of how many attempts it took to win. So for example, in the number guessing game 1 through 10, I mean the maximum is 10. The number guessing game 1 through 100, hopefully the person can play with a little bit of a better strategy because, if you're guessing between 1 and 100 and you have multiple guesses now, you'd probably want to guess 50 right in the middle and then like the 75, if it says to guess higher. So you can kind of like narrow in and close in on your winning number. There's actually mathematically a minimum or a maximum number of guesses it would take to win and figure out the winning number. Like, you can do it in X tries. I'm not going to tell you that number because, again, part of being a programmer is applying these ideas and trying to solve it mathematically. So you could do that, keep track of how many attempts it took to win. If less than the minimum number, minimum number to guarantee a win, tell them they are lucky. If more than the, and this is with the 1 through 100. Let me put that in to clarify. All right, if more than the max number, say they have a bad strategy. Okay. So that's pretty much what we're going to be doing with this. You want to get this these 2 number games on loop, see what you can do to get them to repeat again and again. And just see where it goes. We're going to be using this code later too, so if you want to polish it up and make it look nice or things like that, go for it. Much later in this course, we're going to learn how to use something called random, and we're going to allow Python to pick the winning number. So we, as the creator of the code, don't even know what the winning number is. So every time we start up this game, it becomes a different number, and we have to try to play with that as a as a game. So we're basically inventing a game that we don't know how to win perfectly every time, which I think is pretty cool. All right, so that's the basis of while loops. In the next chapter, we're going to learn just some extra keywords within this while loop. One of them is kind of like this emergency shutdown. So we have keep going equals true. We could also turn it to false. That's one way to kind of shut it down. But we also have a code where we're like, no, boom, emergency break, stop the loop, we're done here. And you'll see where that comes into play. And the other one says, I don't care if you're in the middle of the loop, we're starting the whole thing over again, and we're going to repeat from the beginning exactly how it should go repetitively. And those are going to have some features to them that are quite useful. All right, so best of luck. Get your number guessing games on loop, test them a bunch of times, and see if you want to track this as a bonus. All right, so that's pretty much it, and best of luck. Thanks for watching.